Hi, I'm Jen here in Anaheim, California at Bruheim. We're here for the SoCal Battles It Out episode of Rivalry Talk. Today we have Padres, Angels, and of course my favorite, Dodger fans on the panel. After Rivalry Talk, we're going to head inside for the Angels opening weekend watch party. It's going to be a great time. Want to join us at the next watch party? We will see you in San Diego on Friday, May 12th. Top Fan Rivalry will also be hosting events in Atlanta, Houston, and Boston, so be sure to check one out when they come to your city. Let's go inside and get the Rivalry Talk started.
Welcome to the second episode of the Rivalry Talk Show. Today we're going to do a battle of SoCal. We're going to talk Dodgers, we're going to talk Angels, we're going to talk Padres. I have no idea how this is going to go. Before we started, somebody said I can project really loud because I got a big mouth. I don't know how it's going to go, so let's just have a little bit of fun with it, right? So I want to welcome everybody here: Brian, Danny, Nick, Melissa, Jen, Jeff. We're going to all have a good time today. We're just going to talk. We're going to have fun. And hopefully we have a little bit of back and forth. I suspect I know who's going to start that, though. So we'll start this out with Brian, since he was at the last one. And Brian actually had to walk out because he was getting frustrated by some of the things that we're saying. So obviously you're a huge Dodger fan, it looks like, by that jersey. So
yeah,
he already wants to start frustrating me.
The first Los Angeles.
You're welcome.
There you go. Thank you. So tell us how you became an Angel fan, where it started.
Wow. Well, my name's Brian to start off. I kind of grew up a Yankees fan because of my grandpa, and my family's from New York, but around '01, I really got into baseball cards and got a lot of Angel cards, so kind of took a liking to Darren Erstad, and, in '02 when I was 10, Angels went all the way, so kind of started there, but been a fan ever since, and it's been kind of hard the last decade or so we'll see what happens this year. Game
Or
two.
so. Continuing. Danny, how did you become a Dodger fan? Where'd that start?
Well, I lived in Tucson, Arizona, and we did not have baseball back then. And our cable company had KTLA because it didn't have a contract with the local channel. And so every night it was Dodger baseball and Dodger news. And so from 1986 and started a fan in 86 until now.
And you've had a couple of good years in there, too.
Yes.
A couple of good years. Perfect. Nick, Padres, I guess. I'm going to guess that. So
Yeah, that's a good guess.
There you go. So when did that start? How'd that go?
I think earliest memory could probably be the '98 season.
Okay.
That's when the Padres were able to go to the World Series with Tony Gwynn, Ken Caminetti, Kevin Brown, Greg Vaughn. It was huge for the city, and it stuck, I guess. I'm still wearing the shirts and the jerseys. We had a couple of rough years like the Angels, but the last few years they've been turning it around, so it's an exciting time to be a Padre fan.
Just tell me you don't wear that City Connect jersey. Tell me.
I don't have it yet. It's coming.
Oh.
I'll get
Did
one
you
for you too.
did you lose that bet? No. Yeah, we'll see if that works out.
Yeah.
Melissa, how did you become a Padres fan?
I just kind of grew up in it. I was raised in a household with my grandparents who were Padres fans and just would always watch the games, especially with my grandma. We also had like a secret handshake every time that the Padres scored. So this just kind of became a thing, and I grew up in a Padre household, and here I am, still a Padres fan.
I love it. Jen, what about you? How did you become a Dodger fan?
So I live in Orange County now, but I grew up in LA County. I grew up in Torrance, and that's Dodger territory. My grandma, my uncle loved the Dodgers and Tony Lasorda, and I just, from, I don't know, probably the time I was 7 years old, I remember watching Dodger games, and every weekend, like sitting on the carpet in our den, which was our TV room, and I would watch like day games at Wrigley, and it hasn't stopped since.
There you go. I remember those day games. And Jeff, how did you become an Angels fan?
Yeah, so I've grown up and lived in Orange County my entire life. But, up until about when I was 11, it was really up for grabs. I was, my mom's side of the family was big Dodger fans. My cousin was a big Dodger fan. But my aunt and, we were, my aunt is a big Angels fan. She would take us to games throughout my childhood, and then 2002 came around and everything changed. I mean, that definitely solidified my fandom with the Angels as that World Series run, and from then on, it was all Angels for me. And so, yeah, like Brian said earlier, the last few years have been a struggle with us. But I always look back on those, early years when I was becoming an Angels fan, and I'm looking forward to the future and seeing where things go. But yeah, I love the Angels.
Things that play out. That's awesome. Awesome. So we'll start with you on question number 2. Favorite player of all time?
Of all time, that is a huge question. But I have to say, I wore his jersey today, Torrey Hunter. I love Torrey Hunter. He is a great role model. When he was on the Angels and also on the Twins, I always respected him. The energy he brought to the clubhouse, to the team, I always saw him as a role model, and still do. I see him coming to spring training this year. He's always a great player to look up to, and I love the way when Trout first joined the team that he really looked at Torrey Hunter for guidance. And to be honest, it was devastating when he didn't get to re-sign with the Angels and went on to have a career somewhere else. But he'll always be my favorite. Yeah.
I like Torrey Hunter. Good guy. What about you, Jen? Favorite player of all time?
Well, I've answered this question before on, maybe it was a podcast we did, but being a Dodger fan, like, honestly, the person who's my favorite Dodger isn't a player, it's actually Vin Scully. So most baseball fans know Vin Scully. He's got had the best voice in baseball. And growing up, I mean, I would watch games, and when it got too late, I would go in my room and turn on my radio and fall asleep listening to a game. So the storytelling aspect, just his knowledge, he was the best. And I had a really hard time when he retired and when we got our new broadcasting duo. But now I love Joe Davis, just as much as Vin Scully. But definitely Vin Scully, my favorite Dodger of all time.
You have great luck with broadcasters over there. Yeah, for
luck?
sure.
Is it luck, Jeff? I don't know.
A big old turntable for ours. So.
I think I've told some of you this, but years ago I worked at a company and we could do ringtones. So our tech guy said, whatever ringtone you want for your office phone, let us know. And I found Vin Scully's clip calling Kirk Gibson's home run in a year. It's been so improbable, the impossible has happened. And we said that, and I didn't realize how loud it was going to be with the crowd noise. First time my phone rings, I'm out to lunch, and the CEO walks by and he hears it, and he's like, "You've got to be kidding me." So, oops. And then we forgot the password and how to change it, so it stayed there for like a year.
It'll probably get me in trouble, but my whole family and I just never got around to liking Vin Scully. And
Yep, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
not just Dodger fans, baseball fans are always like, "What?"
Look at who you're sitting between.
I know, but we never got it.
You're going to have to protect him to try to get out of here.
And so, just a sidebar for a second, and I'm not knocking that, but I'm just wondering why, because Vin Scully has never had a mean thing to say about anybody.
No, absolutely.
And he's always been humble.
Yes.
But okay, cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy, great human being.
Yeah, all right, okay, cool.
I know I'm throwing myself out there, but
Beep, beep, that's the bus that you're hearing.
My family sings, we always thought he was really monotonous in his calls.
Oh, no.
It sounded like he just was talking in the same tone, same volume. He could be telling a story about his dog, and then, and there's a double down the line, and then anyway, back to this. That's just, so I know it's putting me in the hot seat.
I love that about him, though.
Everyone has the right to their opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know
that
for now,
this is a safe place. No.
I know it's us against the entire baseball world because everybody loves Vin, and I'll still say he's a legend, but we never really got to like him.
Dick Enberg.
Yeah.
Angels.
Oh yeah.
Padres.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can't watch like For Love of the Game or anything like that, can you? Because he was the announcer in that too.
I clear the mechanism.
Good call. What about you, Melissa? Favorite player of all time?
My favorite player, that's a tough one. I've had a few over the years. I know I've mentioned this on a previous podcast, but I'm still going to stick with Ken Caminetti as being my favorite. Hands down, I grew up as he's one of my favorite like baseball players that I've acknowledged.
Yep.
And to this day, he's still one of my favorites, and I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you saying that on the podcast, and I thought that's a good call. I haven't heard that before, so I like that. I like that a lot. I'm afraid to ask you after what you just said. Should we just skip him, boys, or no? Your favorite player?
My favorite player, it's going to be an easy call. It's Tony Gwynn.
All right. Okay.
Mr. Padre.
At least you're making it up.
I can't stand Tony Gwynn. I'm kidding.
You know what? Good for you for having it. No, we'll talk outside.
No.
No, but yeah, Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre, he could have gone on to bigger, better teams. He could have taken bigger contracts, but he stayed in San Diego. He was really involved with the city, with the fans, and when he died, the whole city fell apart. It was just so sad. Anytime I go to Petco, I always have to see his statue. I have to always go say hi to Tony, because one of the things I always liked about him was, whether you're a fan, another player, part of the media, he always had time to talk, and he was just a great guy on and off the field.
Yeah, he was. That you can't. He and Vince Scully were incredible people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the world misses both of them.
I didn't say that.
Danny, favorite player of all time?
So the height of my fandom for the Dodgers was the early 90s. And meeting Mike Piazza, getting his autograph. I was a big autograph guy when I was younger. And just talking with him, Mike Piazza is my all-time favorite. And it's not popular with a lot of Dodgers fans, but... And then non-favorite Dodger is Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'll give you points for that one.
Okay. There you go. King Griffey Jr. I like that.
Well, we
That's
just
another
saw
good
him
one.
too, Danny. I mean, that was really cool getting to see him. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay too, or is that, I mean, Vince Scully? I get it. I get the understanding.
Like Junior's bubbles or the
Vin is an
half
outlier.
Yeah.
I love the kid. I love Ken Griffey Jr. Like I said, Vince Scully is an outlier.
I like Ken Griffey, but I can't stand Vince Scully. What's going on? All right.
That I got to tell you, I'll be honest, that was unique.
Brian, what about you?
If I were to choose, can I do both all-time and favorite Angel?
Go for it.
All-time, I gotta run it back to my grandpa. He always loved Derek Jeter.
Okay.
And when growing up, it was more so like, that's how you play the game. Like, this is how you address your people. Jeter was so respectable to everyone that was like in his clubhouse. Like, no matter how big star power you were, or the lowest player, like, he was the guy. And I think that is like, I kind of emulated my game kind of like that. But it's like, I gotta respect the game just like Jeter did, and how my grandpa liked Jeter so much, like he kind of just put on to me. But favorite Angel of all time, man, this is tough, but David Eckstein. I gotta go Eckstein. He's a little guy like me. He was always told he couldn't do it, and he's got 2 rings and a World Series MVP to prove it. So
Nice.
and I met him, and he's a great guy too.
Nice.
So yeah, David Eckstein, all-time favorite Angel.
Okay, too.
Oh, yeah.
Former Padre, David Eckstein.
Former Padre.
There you go.
Former Padre David Eckstein.
Yeah.
But not Vince Scully, but David Eckstein.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I don't know what just happened there. All right, so Danny, I'm going to ask you this question. I'll let you lead off. So what makes these other 2 teams, in your opinion, rivals? So Padres and Angels.
Angels, proximity.
Okay.
Anaheim, the Anaheim Angels. The Anaheim Angels of LA.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of Orange County.
Oh, I get it,
And the greater Los Angeles
but I
area.
will say this: when I'm in Orange County, people say this is Orange County, and no, but seriously, they do say that. So probably proximity, I think, makes it a rivalry. The Freeway Series makes it a rivalry, and for the Padres, their relevance, I think, makes it a rivalry. They are battling for the division. They are battling for the playoffs. They are battling for a World Series. So, so when I mean relevancy, I'm not saying they were never not relevant, but just right now they're the hot ticket. And I'm not the fan that's going to say they're buying a championship. Kudos to their management, because their management wants to put a winning product on the field. Their management wants to put a winning product in front of their fans, and they're doing it, and it shows everybody else, all the other owners for all the other teams, you can do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think baseball would be better if more owners did that. You see teams like Oakland, and nobody showed up for opening day, and that's honestly just sad.
Well, no, there were 7 people there. I mean, let's not.
Just ask Anthony Rendon how many people were there.
Just one.
That's the only one that matters to him. Brian, same question. What makes the Dodgers and Padres rivals for the Angels?
I mean, we have nothing against each other. I mean, the Padres are my NL team.
Except for this right here.
Yeah. That's safe to say. All right.
Yeah. Greater numbers when we root together against these guys. Like, that's how we do it. But I think, I mean, Padres, Angels aren't really rivals. But if we talk about, Dodgers, Padres, it's a different story.
Okay. Go for it.
But I think it's more so what happened last year. What happened in 2020 in the Mickey Mouse playoffs.
Here we go.
How Padres they had the best winning percentage in their entire existence that year.
And they had an amazing parade.
Great wild card parade, which is kind of funny in my part. And that rap last year on TV, that was really funny. Guess who's
We don't talk about
But
that.
I get you guys' rivalry. Here's your rivalry. You guys are arguing over who lost more to the Dodgers in the history of your organizations.
The Angels actually have the winning record against
Yeah.
I think it's more so with them. It's recency. It's the Dodgers have always been the big brother in the NL West, and now, and when the Padres did win those NL West titles back in the early 2000s, it was you said it yourself. Like the Dodgers didn't have a good team that year or those years at all, but like the Padres didn't either, and they won with like 85 wins. And I think more so now it's both those farm systems are good. The Padres are here now to win. The Dodgers window is still open, and it has been open for 20 years. And I think just what's happened since 2020 to now, and then even the playoffs last year, has really fueled that rivalry. And in my opinion, I think it's bigger than Giants-Dodgers. I mean, that goes back to New York, but I think right now, San Diego and LA is the rivalry in baseball right now. And I think in sports. And their first match together this year is going to be fun to watch.
That's fair enough. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to go to Jeff.
Sure. Yeah, I do feel like if there was realignment in baseball and the Angels were in the division with the Dodgers and the Padres, it would get heated. Like it is heated now. When we go to the rivalry games whenever the Dodgers and Angels play each other down here in Anaheim, it gets heated down there, but also up between the Padres and the Dodgers as well. And I will say, I am not really against the Padres in any way, but when the Angels go down there and play in San Diego, it's one of the places where I feel like the Angels bring a lot of fans. And so maybe it's a little different now that the Padres are pretty popular, but those rivalries are always great and I enjoy them. But yeah, the Dodgers-Angels rivalry, for me, it's the biggest one that I have. But I know the Dodgers got plenty of rivals throughout baseball, so.
It's amazing what happens when you're good, right, Danny? Everybody just wants to come after you.
And then they want to make fun of you when they didn't win, but you did. I get it.
It's a Vince Scully thing, something like that, right? Jen, what makes the Angels and Padres rivals?
I don't know that I see the Angels as a rival. I never did. Now, Brian, this is nothing against you. Like driving over here today, I love seeing Anaheim Stadium. I love going to Anaheim Stadium because it's baseball, and I am any ballpark, any level. Like, I love baseball. But and I'll go to certain Angel games throughout the year. I will wear baseballism. I won't wear any Dodger stuff. But I don't see us as a rival. I think that every time we have, like, Freeway Series, I see a lot of blue in that crowd. Like, a lot of blue shows up.
Because they all want to live down here.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's just the tickets are much cheaper in Anaheim than it is at Dodger Stadium.
Well, and then I remember like Mike Scioscia, being the manager for all of those years, thinking, I get to go see a former Dodger, and so there was that. So I don't really think of the Angels as a rival, even though we now have all the interleague games and all that. But the Padres, can I answer that question?
Go for it.
Beautiful ballpark, Nick. Beautiful. Great barbecue. seating is awesome, even in left field, getting to see the bullpen. Like, I could totally appreciate that. I like the Tony Gwynn statue, everything. Okay, you guys don't have a farm system anymore because you completely dealt it away last year and it didn't produce anything for the team. I'm not a Padres fan. I'm not a Padres fan. I hope that the Dodgers learned their lesson from last year's, underperforming postseason. The rivalry, I don't know. I think it's gotten worse since Manny Machado became a Padre.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of likable guys on the Padres. There's a lot of likable guys. I mean, I just saw you sign Jake Cronenworth to an extension today. That's great. The rivalry is just going to be because I think that the way the fans have behaved and after wins I don't like that rivalry, and the Dodgers need to win against the Padres this year. That's all I have to say.
So how does it make you, I'll come to you in a second, how does it make you feel that she says, I like the stadium, but nothing good about that? Because she sees your City Connect jerseys, never.
No, it's not even that.
The Neapolitan jerseys.
Well, the City Connect jerseys, I mean, the person that came up with that.
Lost a bet?
No. They were looking at a 1990s interior of a Taco Bell and said, those are the colors we need. I'm kidding.
For years, you guys just were like, how about pajama?
Ouch.
Ours are actually nice, Brian.
Rough crap.
Surfing. There you go. Surfing. There you go.
All right, so Melissa, what do you think?
When it comes to the Angels, I don't see a rivalry with them whatsoever. I've never had an issue with the team, never had an issue with the fans or anything like that. When it comes to the Dodgers, however, there's a lot of rude fans, to be honest. When they come to the stadium, like, I'm always chill, minding my business, and they just want to be rowdy and start stuff. Like,
Okay.
I understand it's baseball, but there's no need to be, like, rude, especially if you're the guest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can understand that. I mean,
So then I get mad at that point, and then things go south. So.
oh boy. We'll come back to that. Nick.
So real quick with Padres Angels.
Yep.
Since they were never in the same division together,
Mm-hmm.
so interleague play hasn't really taken off until recently. So I feel like just from the lack of exposure to one another, the Angels and Padres never really developed any sort of rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Angels fans like the Padres and a lot of Padres like the Angels. So I feel like there's not much of a rivalry. When it comes to the Dodgers, the Padres and Dodgers have been in the same division. The Dodgers' last decade of dominance, the Padres have had to live under it.
What was that last part you just said?
Oh, he said decade
Walked
of
into that
dominance. Decade of dominance. Decade of dominance. But hey, that's good honesty. I like that.
A lot of NL West titles with one thing.
1 out of 10. I mean, good job. But
This says the guy that hasn't seen the playoffs hardly since Mike Trout's been an Angel. So, I mean, all right, keep going.
1 out of 10 isn't bad for a decade. But having to live under that, all 4 teams, they had to watch the Dodgers do that. And so whether the Dodger fans see it as a rivalry or not, Padre fans do see it as a rivalry. Like Dodger fans like to joke, it's the big brother thing, but this time San Diego has gotten bigger. We've brought in a lot of talent. We traded some of our farm system away to bring in some great players who the ownership have made it clear that they want to see extend. They want to see Juan Soto stay in San Diego for a long time. And so having a team with Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, that's a team that's going to be scary for a decade.
Could be. Very well could be.
So, yeah. And
Darvish.
I think we could all agree we don't like the Astros, though, right?
Yeah.
You know, that is a very
amazing how
good,
it works out.
astute observation. Yes.
Bringing this around full circle.
Yes. It's a good observation. Nice. I like that.
But yeah, my dislike for the Dodgers, it happened ever since I was born. My family have all been Padre fans, and being raised a Padre fan, you're raised to dislike the Dodgers.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this first question because of what you said. I said we'll come back to this. So what just drives you nuts about these other 2 teams? And keep in mind, we don't have a 4-hour show. But what drives you nuts?
The Angels, I've never had an issue. Like, whenever I've gone to the games,
Uh-huh.
everything's been fine. Everything's fun, great atmosphere. When you come to the Dodgers, things aren't so fun. I'm always like seeing security come out, and I'm just like, can we just have a good time? Like, what? Why? All this, like, okay, bicker back and forth, but why does it got to get to the next level?
Melissa, if you just wore a Dodger jersey, everything would be fine.
I'm not blue. That's not where I'm from. It's not my city. Like, no way.
Awesome. Okay, that's fair enough. Danny, you and I were talking about that before we started this. So
About what?
about some of the Dodger fans and how they treat people. So we don't have a lot of argument there, a lot of leg to stand on sometimes.
I mean, there is a notoriety of that, but we can all be honest. Every team, every fan base has rowdy.
Well, here's the notoriety. When you add stupid with alcohol, I mean,
1 + 1's always going to be 2.
Them, they're genius.
Genius getting escorted out and into a car and into a pen, and yeah.
Trying to be as diplomatic as possible. Every fan base has them.
Oh, absolutely. It's free Uber.
Absolutely. The problem with ours is
There's a
I
lot.
think we have a lot more social media, phones out. I want that viral video, and it's more boom. I mean, it was a Padre fan, not the Padres, okay? It was just a person, not the fan base, a person that sucker punched and knocked out a Colorado Rocky last year or the year before. I mean, just laid him out cold. Now, if you're a fighter, that was an impressive shot. But, I mean, every fan base has knuckleheads. But the top fan bases are the ones that get all the attention.
But I think it's just kind of what's happening in society, maybe more than just with baseball, because I travel to stadiums all over the country, and I'll go by myself, and I always feel safe. I always feel fine where I go to Dodger Stadium by myself a lot. I always feel fine. I think it's unfortunate that people are not being respectful of each other, because we all visit each other's stadiums and we cheer for the other team. But I just think that society as a whole, we need to be a little bit more respectful.
I think that started to ramp up with social media. You see, on social media, we have a lot of keyboard warriors, a lot of cyber tough guys, and they're safe in front of their homes and whatever, and they can say whatever. And they're so used to chronically saying that, oops, it slips out in public, and then there starts the fights.
It's true. It's true. So what do you think?
Well, I will say I've been to Dodger Stadium twice.
Okay.
It actually just coincidence. The Padres weren't playing in either game, but each time I was getting followed out and yelled at by Dodger fans.
Okay, were you wearing the Padres hat?
I was wearing, and
That's courageous. That's brave. I
here-
gotcha.
Here is the point, though. This was when the Padres sucked. This was like 2015.
But-
So
yep.
if a Dodger fan wanted to come after me then, that's like kicking a puppy. Like, yeah, I know I suck. Tell me that. So. But yeah, I think, like I said before, every fan base has crappy fans, and with social media and just with society, people are just angrier. People are ruder. People just don't seem to care about other people. But sometimes the good fans can overshadow that. So I think having a good experience, like with these 3 Dodger fans here, it overshadows the crappy moments that I have with Dodger fans that yell at me. Having 3 people here I can have a respectful conversation with, that's one of the good things about baseball.
That's why you build something like this, and that's kind of what Jen's talking about and Danny's talking about. People staying away from just their keyboards, but actually talking to each other and being respectful about it. I mean, you can have passion for your team, and it hurts when your team gets knocked out. Trust me, in 2017, when the Dodgers lost the World Series, I was sad for like 3 days, right? It works out that way, but you're respectful to other people, so
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Danny?
All right. Can you ask the question again? Sorry.
What drives you just nuts about the other rivalries?
Okay, so honestly, number one, nothing drives me nuts about the Angels. Oh, wait, one thing, hang on. And the Padres. I don't hate the Padres. I'm just not a Manny Machado fan. I'm not a fan of his demeanor. Hands down, probably one of the top 3, maybe top 2 third basemen in the league. Dude's got skills, but I just, that personal demeanor. Then there were a couple times when he was in Baltimore where he slid in cleats first. I think he might have done that with the Dodgers once, where he was with the Dodgers, did that. I'm just not a fan of some of that. My issue with Padre fans, not the genuine fans, and not the fans that can name names before 2017. It's the baseball quotes have changed. We used to talk about players, and now all of a sudden we're talking about renting lofts and renting apartments, and I don't know, rent-free. What is rent-free? And I'm just messing with the young Padre fans that just don't do baseball talk. Seriously, I don't hate the Padres. I enjoy the banter. I enjoy the back and forth, and I'm going to enjoy this season because both teams are relevant, both teams matter, and it's intense. Now, the Angels, I don't have a problem with the Angels at all. I don't have a problem with their fans at all, but I want to speak for the fan base. I guess my issue is this.
Yeah, we'll hear for
I guess
you.
my issue is this, and then you'll have to ask me why is my issue, but is Anaheim actually not a city? Like if I were to mail something to your address, I would mail it to your address and in Los Angeles, not Anaheim.
You will in Anaheim.
Oh, you have to write Anaheim on
Yeah,
it.
it's also a Disney Incorporated city.
So, but it's Anaheim. Yeah. What is this LA stuff? I understand what it is. I know what it is. Anaheim Angels just were not marketable, so they put a big name on it, Los Angeles, to up the marketing value.
At one point, they were all California, right? It was California.
It was California Angels too, right? And so, but yeah.
And I'll say, as a fan of the team, like California Angels is where my heart is. That's where I would want it to be, and ownership has different ideas, obviously.
I don't think ownership has any idea.
Well said. But yeah, being one of the in the LA market, I definitely understand the logic behind it. But yeah, as a fan of the team, I agree. California Angels is where I would go as well. So.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
If I could respond to the Manny Machado stuff.
Please.
When Manny signed with San Diego, I was not thrilled about it. I'd seen all the stuff he'd done in Baltimore. I think it was he kicked the first baseman's leg in the playoffs with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't thrilled. I didn't think that's how you play baseball. And so even though bringing in a big name, it was huge for the franchise, I was still nervous. But having watched Manny these last 5 years now, he has changed my mind. I genuinely think that the organization sat him down because when he signed, this was when Tatis was still a prospect. I think that they sat him down and they said, you were the kid. This is going to be the kid. You need to show him what it's like to play ball. You need to grow up a little bit. And we're going to offer you a big boy contract, but you need to be the big boy.
You need to run to first base, not like walk when you were a Dodger.
Oh, sometimes he hustles. Sometimes he has hustle deficiencies.
He really would, he knew he was out and he would just be like, jog.
Yeah, he's definitely still working on that, but dirty plays, just being I would say a negative personality on the field. I just have not seen that with Manny Machado in the Padre uniform. I've seen him yell with umpires.
Well, let me tell you the dates of last year. There were 7 dates, and so first it was July. No, I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
here we go.
I definitely think everybody still needs to improve. I think every player in baseball, they can have off days and bad attitudes and good attitudes, but I really do think when Manny put on the Padre uniform, he turned it around and he decided, I'm not that young, arrogant kid anymore. I have to be the leader. And I truly think Manny is the leader and the captain in the Padre clubhouse. And I will praise him. He has not grabbed a fan from the stands and tried to swing at him and stuff, little slaps and stuff. Just taking swings at the Angels.
Whew, Rendon. Man.
Brian, what do you think? And then Jeff, we'll go to you.
Oh man, it all goes back to fan bases. Like I said, none of you guys for sure. You guys are like diehard Dodger fans. I think it's more so ones that I've come across to in my life where they don't even know they came from Brooklyn. it's all like, oh, we're LA. I wear LA on my hat, and it's like, oh, who's their all-time leader in this and that? Well, I don't know, Matt Kemp, or like someone recent. They'll be like, oh, we didn't have that guy, or they like him because like he just wears Dodger on it, and it's like they know nothing about the player. It's just if they show LA, that's them.
It's the brand.
It's the brand, and I think that's what annoys me about it the most. Is more so like,
Where were you in the McCourt years?
yeah, exactly.
Trust me.
Just
Yeah.
the money you're paying for to get in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium is going to his wallet. So that's the weird part. But I think it's more so that, and it's. My dad likes to say he likes the O'Malley Dodger fans a lot because he's an old head. But it's more so like the newer fans where it's like you guys can come to Angel Stadium wear Dodger blue when it's the Angels and Yankees playing, but you can wear Dodger blue and you'll be fine. But if I wear red in LA, I'm getting booed out. Like I gotta get a Kevlar vest on. But just kidding.
Apparently.
But it's more so like I think it's just more the fan base. But honestly, about the org, I hate how good they've always been, and I'm so jealous. So the hate is jealousy, and envious. With the Padres, it's a fan base thing too, because I actually grew up going to a lot of Padre games because I lived closer, and I've been to that stadium where it was a great day if they won, but if they lost, it was okay, and there was 12,000 people there. The people when I go to a game there now, like I feel overwhelmed. The fans are booing everything and don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of been like a frat house in a way. And that's what I've gotten the most out of going to Petco recently. So I think those are my little nitpicks about it, but I enjoy going.
Can I ask how young you are?
30.
30. Okay, that's a pretty good observation for a 30-year-old. Really, it is.
And physically, I'm 60.
Right, but if I could piggyback on that for just a second.
Go.
I run a fan page on Instagram, and I had a picture of Fred McGriff. I think it was Fred McGriff, and it was an old Padres uniform, and I think I put it on my story. A Padre fan asked me if that's going to be their new uniform. Now, in his defense, he was a new fan, and that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Some people, listen, it is a party at Petco. That is a tight stadium. That sound system is rocking, and it is fun. It is a party at Dodger Stadium. I have not been to Anaheim yet, the Angels yet, but I will. It's a party, and so you're going to have a lot of people that party. And for us Dodger fans, here's how you know who's a real Dodger fan. See someone in a Dodger hat, let's go Dodgers, and then they say something. See someone in a Dodger hat, and you say that, and they look confused. What? Yeah, because they wear it as an accessory. Well, for a lot of young fans, baseball is an accessory. It's a popularity thing.
Yeah.
And if your team is popular, you got to go. And so, but yeah, that's good.
Jeff.
Yeah, I'd say specifically with the Dodgers, I think the national media definitely has their favorite teams, right? The Yankees, Boston on the West Coast here, LA, Dodgers. And I think the fans love to build on some of those national stories and send them our way. And that's one of the most annoying things, deservedly or not. And just that, constantly it's, what is Mike Trout going to leave in 5 years? Is Mike Trout going to leave in 4 years? Now it's Ohtani, right? There's always something. And it's because they think that they're going to get him, which, it might happen, it might not. But I think that to me is always just like, let's enjoy the moment, enjoy where we're at, try to have a good season as much as we can and worry about that in the off season. But yeah, these are the Dodgers fans. It's fun back and forth, but it's definitely always one-sided in my mind. But I don't know.
It's more so getting made fun of for having Albert Pujols for 10 years.
That
in the
too.
3 months he's in LA, it's this guy's going in the Hall of Fame with the Dodger hat on.
Oh, that's
where
right.
it's like,
Yeah. As soon as he went over there, he's the best, right? But yeah, and with Padres fans, I think definitely recently, it's come a little bit more jealousy in terms of that you guys have been able to build a successful product and look to be going in the right direction. But I've always had a positive view towards the Padres and Padre fans. So yeah.
Jen. Same question. Yeah, drives you nuts about the other two teams.
Don't say the rally monkey.
I remember the rally monkey from the year you guys won the World Series. I think the rally monkey's cute. Actually, I like that. What drives me nuts? Yeah. Brian, that was a really great, I think it was either Danny or Brian who just said it was you, Danny, wearing the Dodger hat. Because honestly, there are so many times, like as a Dodger fan in Orange County, so I guess I'm going to hate on my own team for a second. But, like half of my wardrobe is Dodger stuff. I've got, the hats, I've got the purses, everything. And I'll say something about, who's your favorite Dodger? Huh? Who's your favorite Dodger? And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's not a good thing. What drives me nuts? Yeah, I agree with the Petco fans that maybe it's a destination rather than a passion, right? I'm going to go to the Padres game. It's downtown. There's all the great gas lamp experiences around it. It's a fantastic stadium. I've said that. It's one of my top 8 stadiums probably. I don't really know. I don't think anything really drives me nuts about the Angel fans. I think it's a nice experience. There's a lot of people bringing their kids there. Yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say about that. And I'm going to be the first one to jump on any sort of an Ohtani bandwagon. I mean, I respect your 2 elite players immensely, and I hope that they have success and good health. And I don't even want Ohtani to come to my team. I'm weird like that. I'm very homegrown talent. No, I'm a very homegrown talent person.
The Dodgers didn't originally either, so.
Well, no, I mean, but look at the bottom of our lineup. Nobody's, yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, I don't have anything. Nothing really drives me nuts about the other teams. Yeah.
So we're gonna end this off with you, Jen. So we're gonna start. We're gonna go around. We're gonna wrap this up. Last question: who is your favorite player? Can be current or of all time from each of the other teams. So for the Padres and for the Angels.
Well, I'm starting.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Garrett Anderson.
Okay.
GA, I like Garrett Anderson. I know was local, lived in Laguna Beach for a little while. I like GA. I mean, the years that you guys went to the playoffs and then that you went to the World Series, those were good times. I mean, I used to go out and watch the games, Irvine Spectrum. Like I was your age at the time. It was fun. We had a great time. So I like Garrett Anderson. I always did. Padre, I mean, I don't know. It probably'd have to be Trevor Hoffman, like for sure. I mean, I remember watching his Hall of Fame speech 2-3 years ago, whenever that was. You'll tell me, Nick. But yeah, Trevor Hoffman. I mean, I love the confidence, outstanding closer. Geez, I'm like, what the heck am I trying to say? Outstanding closer. I like the whole theme of the music coming in. Yeah. So anyway, definitely it would be Trevor Hoffman. Yeah.
Perfect. Jeff?
I have to build off that with Trevor Hoffman. That was going to be my favorite Padre player as well. Class guy. Always, you knew when it was his time to come in, and knew that your chance of winning the game was probably 0 to very little. But yeah, and, he's a big Orange County guy too. He's been in the area, and Southern California is just a Trevor Hoffman place, right? But Dodgers, man, it's hard to pick one. But I actually would go with a current player. I actually like Clayton Kershaw. I think he's a great person for the community, symbol for LA in general, and yeah, I'd probably go with Kershaw. Yeah.
Very good. Good calls. What about you?
For the Angels, I'm gonna go with currently Mike Trout.
Okay.
He's a good player. And for the Dodgers, I like Mookie Betts. I really do. I enjoyed watching him play against the Padres when they had him mic'd up. That was probably one of my favorite games to watch.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna go with Mookie Betts on that.
I love it. That was a good mic'd up session. I like that. Brian.
It was tough. I think Padres. I gotta go Tony Gwynn. I mean, I never got to see him play, unfortunately, but just looking at his baseball reference page and all the bold and just all his hits and at bats compared to his very few strikeouts is just the type of player we're not going to see ever again, I think. And just looking at that and just like Nick touched on earlier, like having him be gone too soon it sucks because like a lot of people can learn a lot from him. But I got to say Tony Gwynn. And then Dodger, I got to go Koufax. I never got to see him play either. But again, looking at his baseball reference page and then hearing from my dad, he accomplished so much as a pitcher in a short amount of time. I think he pitched 10 years and, 200 plus wins, very little losses, like always complete games.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, love it. Danny.
So for the Padres, it is Tony Gwynn. Okay. Tony Gwynn is, to me, the last purest hitter we've seen. Tony Gwynn could, he could hit home runs too, but it was always just hitting the ball, always. And then there's a stat, and it's the 4 big pitchers, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, and 2 of the others, the 4 big pitchers. And I think the stat is all the games that Tony Gwynn has faced against them, I think he has struck out. Combined, all 4, I think he struck out like 3 times. Yeah. Against all 4 of the top 4. 3 times in however many. That is insane. He might have flown out a lot, but dude doesn't strike out. All right. So the Angels, I like to fish, so I'm going to go with Tim Salmon and Mike Trout. So Tim Salmon, because 90s baseball was huge for me, and it was Salmon and Mike Piazza but Mike Trout is class, and so yeah.
I like it. What do you say? Dodgers, Angels.
I wanted to use a current and a former player for each team.
Go.
I'll start with the Dodgers. Current is Clayton Kershaw.
Okay.
For the longest time, he was the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. When I thought about Dodger pitching, it was Clayton Kershaw on the mound with his classic leg kick.
Yep.
He's just always been a class act. I love all the charity work he does in L.A. I would honestly say he's the only Dodger I like currently. But previous or former players, I'm going to go with Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like a cop-out, but without Jackie, my favorite player, Tony Gwynn, and players all around the league, they may not have gotten the same experience.
Yeah.
And so without Jackie, baseball would have been completely different. And so I think Jackie should be a hero to every baseball fan. When it comes to the Angels, I'm going to say current is probably Mike Trout, because I was going to college right around the time when Mike broke through, or I might have been in high school. And so being able to watch him from the get-go, you knew this guy was special. He was huge. He was going to be a great player. And I think he is going to be one of the greatest players of all time. And then former Angel, I'm going to say Torrey Hunter. Just the style, the flair, how he played the game was always exciting and fun to watch.
So I love this question, so I'm going to take a shot at this too. So favorite Padre player, and you guys are going to think that I'm going old school with Dodgers, but I'm going to say Steve Garvey, because when Steve Garvey hit that home run in '84 to send them to the World Series, that was a big moment for the Padres. That kind of put the Padres on the map. And so my favorite player of all time is Steve Garvey, but as a Padre, and if you look at it, when he rounds first, he puts his arm up, and Dan, you remember this, right? Yeah, I mean, this was a big thing. And so I guess my favorite Angel player is Wally Joyner. I mean, I like Wally Joyner because I was impressionable when he came up. I was in my early teens when he came up, and he just seemed to do everything when he came up. It was just odd. He could hit the ball for power, hit it in the gap. It was great. So that's where I'm going to go. And I love your Jackie Robinson statement, so I like that. But I want to thank everybody for being on this panel. This has been great. This is episode 2 of Rivalry Talk. We talked Angels, Dodgers. We talked Padres. This has been a lot of fun. So I want to thank Brian and Danny and Nick and Melissa and Jeff and Jen for all being here. This is an opportunity for everybody to share their fandom. I know that we've talked about how each individual fans a little differently, but I'm grateful that we were all able to come together and have a little fun with it, and look forward to doing more of these and having everybody back on. So thank you all for being on today, and we'll see you next time.